Hi, my name's Meredith Mustard, and I am speaking to you from Two Imagine Studios in Farmington, Maine. And I've been doing a lot of printing on fabric, using stencils and masks, and whatever I can find. So I've been asked to do a demonstration, and I'm going to talk your way through the materials. Some of the things that you need to do it are fabric. I'm using a real basic fine weave cotton fabric. And the first thing that I do with it is throw it in the washing machine, wash it, warm water, throw it in the dryer, hot dryer, to shrink it so it's pre-shrunk. And some of the other things you need are, to do what I'm doing, jelly plates, sprayer. I use fluid, golden fluid acrylics, and you can use any colors. I do not use an additive to make it especially good on fabric. It does end up being a little bit stiff, but amazingly pliable, depending on how many layers of paint I put on. Well, after I've done it, after I've printed, I iron it with a hot iron, and I put a piece of craft paper down. Put the fabric down on I use a table that has a cloth cover, so it's like an ironing board. So I put the fabric that's printed, put a piece of craft paper and the hot iron, and slowly iron it to press in and to apply the heat, which really fuses it to the fabric. Some of the other things that I use are, I make a lot of stencils. I make them myself. I don't really use commercial stencils. I have maybe 2 commercial stencils that I use, but I use Duralar clear film, 0.005, whatever, 9 by 12 inch sheets, because I have a 9 by 12 plate that I use. What I'm going to be printing on right here is 8 by 10, 2 8 by 10 side by side, which gives a bigger space. So this Duralar can be cut, put a drawing underneath it, tape it down, and then you can cut it with an X-Acto kind of craft knife. Or the other thing that I've done a lot of recently is I've just cut shapes for masks and stuff, and this is an example. I wanted some squares, so I don't know if you can see that. I used a Sharpie marker and just marked off what I wanted to do. I've also cut random circles, so what I end up with is 2 pieces. Have the other one. Well, there's a sheet that these were cut out of, and I use both. I use the pieces that are cut out for some of my prints, and I use the stencil that's left. I'll make stencils out of anything. Here are some, I was trimming off some old stencils that had borders on them. I went to take the borders off, and I thought, oh, keep those. So I will use those as well. Some of the other... So there are 2 pieces to this stencil business. When I cut, I've done a lot with hearts. So I've cut a heart out of this. This is a stencil. And then the heart that I come out, I use as a mask. So I'll print with either one of those, and I'll kind of show you how that works. Okay, then another thing that I work with is, I don't know what you call these. They're like printing boards. This is foam core board, and this is craft foam that has a sticky back. You peel the back off. And I just cut it with scissors and mount it onto here, and then I use that to make a pattern. And I have tons of them. Really fun to make. So that's kind of, here are the scissors that I use. I can do some pretty fine cutting. There's something B scissors, very sharp, nice little points, very accurate scissors. And cleanup, I'll use a spray, alcohol. I happen to have a bunch of this hand sanitizer for sometimes cleaning the plate, and I use something like that for cleaning my brayer. And then wipes. Wiping off the plate, I find sometimes if you use fabric, you can leave little marks in the plate, which isn't really great. But this doesn't seem to. It's soft enough. And then if I have a bunch of goop left on the plate, I will gently wipe it with cloth, but not rubbing. The rubbing part, not good. Okay, so start with another. Let's see. Another item that I recommend is gloves, because paints are, for the most part, contain toxic substances, and our skin is, I understand, the largest organ in our body, and it is absorbent. So whatever gets on your skin can go almost directly into your blood through the skin. And paint being toxic like that, and if you're printing often, like I do, it would be cumulative. So, oh, here's another tool I use, a brayer, not a brayer, Barren, and that's sort of a stiff sheet of paper. I'll show you how that works. Okay, so I am going to just demonstrate some of these things. This is really simple jelly printing. I put more paint on here. I was doing a lot of image transfer before, which takes a really thin coat of paint. But this printing, because you want to have some paint on the fabric, and the fabric doesn't pick up the paint as easily as the paper did. So I'm going to do both of them. Let's see what happens. Both with the same color. And I think the beauty of this printing on fabric too is the layers. I have a large sheet of paper over here on the table that I clean off my brayer with. All right, so I'm going to show you something really, really simple here. And that is these squares. So I just put them on randomly. And they have a little magnetic quality, you know, what is it, that thing like you get in your hair when it goes all weird. All right, so put that there. Going off the sides, and then over here I'm going to do some circles. And I think the secret to doing all of this stuff is keep doing it, because you're going to figure out your own little tricks, things you like, things you don't like. One of the things I've learned is when I'm taking these off after I've printed, to not put them face down. Now the part that's down on the paint is going to be covered with paint. And if I take them and pile them up on top of each other, they'll stick together. And that is annoying. Okay, so here's my fabric. And here's the plate. Let's see what's going to be the best way to go. Now I try to go right to the edge of the fabric. So there it is. I'm going to put this down, bring the Barren, and not be doing a lot of big movement at first, because I want the fabric to sort of make contact. And once it makes contact, then I may go in with my hand to make sure I'm getting that contact all around the edges of these masked shapes. All right, I think we've got it. Ooh, let me see, a little more, a little more. I like to get the edges as best I can. Okay, let's see. So here's what we're getting. That's kind of what it looks like. And then I'm going to quickly take these off. Be careful to flip them over so that they're not all sticking to the box where I store them. You really have to look carefully and make sure you get them all off before you do the next thing. All right, and the circles. All right. Now I'm going to come back in here and print this. This is kind of the ghost print portion of this process. So this is not an exacting kind of image. You know, I take what I get and I layer. I put another print or color over top of whatever I've just done, and it keeps getting richer with each layer. So this is what this layer will look like. It's kind of more spotty. See the difference? The solid and the spotty. That's what it looks like. And I'm going to print over it. That'll be my next thing. Now I'm just going to leave this kind of mess here and not worry about what the next thing is. Now this is stencil that is something I bought. So this is the one place where I do make that exception. It's letters, and they're stencil letters, so they had insides. I cut the inside parts out, you know, like the circle and stuff, because I don't like that little bridge that shows up on those. And I'm going to use another color that will be very different. I think what it might be, let's see, let's do primary cyan. Nice blue. And where did my brayer go? Yeah, gotta be careful when you put things down. If they don't disappear. Okay, so very gently putting the paint down. So I don't want to push it off the edge, since there is a lot of paint on the plate. I haven't tried doing this double plate thing. There's a reason why I did this today. I haven't done it before. So, let's see. All right. So here's some letters. And then these are some of the insides that I took out of the numbers and the letters. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to throw these away. These are fun shapes. So we're going to have both of these here. And I've printed different ones with different colors, so that's why they look different. And this, once again, I find this is true with a lot of what I do with jelly prints. I have to work fairly quickly. Can't think too much. Just have to put stuff down. Sometimes it doesn't get right where I want it to be, but oh well. Now I'm going to print over top. I don't know what any of this is going to look like. Every time I do it, it's a surprise, and I love that about it. It's always a surprise. All right, we got this down. Go back in a little bit. Another way to go with this is to do a solid block of color and then print another color on top. And that way you're not going to have white showing through. So there, you know, everything is a different look. I've also started printing onto a black fabric, and that is so dramatic. Okay. Here we go. So this is what it's looking like. And then I'm going to do this. Once again, the same business. I'll get these out of here. Ugh. I'm going to print this print that's coming from the masking part. Print that on this other part here. Let's see. Line it up best I can. And here we go again. Ugh. And this is acrylic paint. It dries really quickly. So it's good to move as fast as you can. You'll get a lot more paint transferring onto the fabric. If it dries a little bit, it just doesn't pick up the same way. Ah. Okay, so this is what we're getting here. And these are pretty contrasty colors. So I really think about it when I'm going to add another color. What is going to work? If I put a yellow over it, the pink will turn more orangey. The blue will turn more green. Do I want that? Do I want to try a purple? It would kind of keep its own. And this is beautiful too. Another thing I'll do is keep some paper around where I can take a print off of this. In fact, I might just do that right now. I have some calendars that we designed, overprinted, you know, so we have too many of them, and it's great paper for printing on. So what could I will do a yellow, Naples yellow. So this is just going to be to take a print, see if we can pick up that alphabet and the shapes. I think this paper is not going to be quite big enough. No, it's not. Well, I'll pick up all of it. And this, rub it. So what happened was I'd used the white side of the paper. It would have picked up more, but it's transferred the image from the paper. Got something else that has some stuff on it. Let's see if I can just pick that up. Yep, interesting. And that. All right, clean enough. Now I am going to do purple, a purple. Let's see, a dark purple. Now, one of the things that's happening here too is if I don't like a color, how it comes right out of the bottle, I will sometimes mess with it. So I was trying to get a good purple, and this may have been the one where I added a little bit of white because the purple was just so dark you couldn't see. So okay, so I'm going to take one of these panels, put it on here very carefully, press so it doesn't move around, pick it up, and then this is a different one, put it on this side. Same thing, pick it up, and here we go. This is gonna, who knows? This might be a big win, and it might be a big mess. Oops, didn't get quite to the edge. I do not worry about perfection when I do this. This is all surprises, lots of surprises. It's kind of pretty there. Aha! So here's what we have. You can see how it's getting more complex. I might do one more color over, and then again, maybe not. Okay, I'm going to do something else here on the other side. Once again with the purple, since we've already got all that purple on there. These are some little mask things I made out of scraps, just with a pair of scissors. They were all the same size, and the challenge was, how many different patterns can I cut with scissors? I'm gonna put these down fairly quickly. Here, this may be taking too much time. Paint's going to be drying. Be good if I could just speed this up. These tend to stick to your fingers too, so I'm letting it go is sometimes tricky. Let's see that. And this. All right. Let's see how lost these get. It right up to the edges. These have a lot of detail in them, so I go back with my fingers so you can feel the pressure into the soft plate. Gives more contact around the edges of this. So that's kind of a base. You can see different colors, things are happening, and I can go back in now and mess. I think one more color is going to really kind of pull it together, and maybe something a little bit more bold. But that's kind of the way it goes. I think that's it. And you know, keep watching. Maybe I'll have some other ideas. Yeah, this is Meredith Mustard from 2 Imagine Studios in Farmington, Maine. You can find us on Instagram and also on Facebook, To Imagine Studios. So thanks for watching. Bye.